been going kind of mellow with the music lately, so I think we gotta go for something a bit harder. I think I have an idea. DJ, can we put on some Deep Purple right now? The very last day of the Montreal Jazz Festival, one of my favorite activities around the city for summer. Oop, hang on, I'm misting myself. Hey, with heat like this, you gotta do what you gotta do to stay hydrated and refreshed. So, welcome to episode 201 of the Wanayuki Cheese Cafe. Kind of hard to believe that I'm already at episode 201. I've been doing this for like a good 4 years now. So, yeah, crazy how time flies. And unlike when I was doing episode 200, I thought let's go for something that's a little bit more upbeat. I used a lot of mellow music the last time because I was very reflective, but it's sunny, hot, and I don't have a very rainy day, so I'm just going to make the most of it and enjoy the music. And let's see where we're going to be heading to very soon. Oh no, that's not true. To be fair, I kind of had an idea in mind where I wanted to go into Griffintown for a meal and a good drink, but what I wasn't sure about is how I wanted to get there and if I wanted to do a stop along the way somewhere else. Pretty much just making this up as I go along and letting the music take me for a ride. So right now, this is St. Urban Street, and I'm going southbound towards Chinatown, and I'll figure things out along the way. And while I'm doing that, I have one suggestion for you all. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, because you can get a pop-up notification that a new video is ready if you put that bell on. Give me a thumbs up too while you're at it. The more likes I get, the more you help me promote across YouTube, so it works out. Unless you've already subscribed, in which case, carry on wayward, son. De la Gauchetière Street West, which means that I am now within the Chinatown district of downtown Montreal. Kind of makes me take back to when I was doing an episode about almost 3 years ago when I was doing a wander here and then ended up on a rooftop terrace. I feel like that episode was the one time that I showed off bubble tea on the channel, as opposed to me showing off coffee, beer, whiskey, and the occasional glass of wine. In case you want to see that one, then I'm going to put a link on the top right corner for you to revisit it, because that was one of my early days of wander videos where I was pretty much just covering what I knew and showing those off before I really became a wanderer around here. Something else I'm seeing around here too is that there's a lot of cosplaying going on. As much as I would say it's, people just being weird around Montreal, the truth is there is a logic to it today. The last day of Jazz Fest is also coinciding with Comic-Con weekend. So you're going to have people dressed up as their favorite superheroes, anime characters, and whatever else. It's fun times. The amount of effort that it takes to make a costume like that, it's more effort than my old Batman costume I used to wear, which... yeah, that. The cardboard logo, the homemade cape. That takes me back. Brought up this story a lot when I was on the channel, but it bears repeating for me. I've always liked the atmosphere around Place Dame because it's very cozy. You got some really nice musicians, and especially if you come here at night, the lighting is just beautiful. Although I do have to chuckle because I remember one time that stood out many years ago was someone who was playing some Bee Gees on a Spanish guitar, so I thought, flamenco version of Staying Alive? That is so odd. And yet somehow it worked. Stranger things have happened in life. You know, as much as I've enjoyed walking through Old Montreal when I was younger, I'm kind of thinking to myself that I haven't really documented it as much, even though that it's kind of interesting from an architectural and a historical standpoint, because around here you will find some of the oldest architecture in North America ever, because I think some of this would date back to maybe the 1600s if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, I have a friend who's a bit more of a history buff than me, so he could probably correct me on that if he's watching this video. The one thing I do know is that I'm kind of getting close to La Commune Street, which is the southmost street in Old Montreal, and I might have an idea for someplace I could go get myself a drink. I haven't documented this one yet, so it'd be kind of fun. Very nice place. I made my way over to Marché des Éclusiers. This is actually one of those spots I used to visit a couple of times in the past in my pre-vlogging days of wandering around the city. The only thing is that back then I was mostly wandering the city for other random stuff, like neighborhoods I knew, or hopping around on a subway and a bus. But in terms of coming for a drink, I would always end up around downtown or Old Montreal, like never outside of my comfort zone. And this is one of those spots I came to because I remember they had Sapporo on tap, and I had a thing for being on the summertime terraces out here right by the port. But the other significant thing I remember is me and one of my friends had to come here for a drink, like back in 2017, I would say. And this was also around the time that we were meeting up with a friend who was working in the Westmount at the time. And I told her, like, come on, it's a quick walk, it's only 30 minutes. It took us about an hour, 45 minutes to walk there, and she still gives me shit to this day. I'm not going to be posting that again because we already documented it before, but we always laugh at it to this day. But my other point of reference too would be, further and back would be McGill Avenue, and if I was to go there, I would be going to the Sagris Microbrasserie, or the Grey Nuns, which I actually covered with my fellow Stooges when we did our trip to Gibby's back in 2022. Oh no, maybe it's actually 2023. I forget which, yeah, it was 2023 at the beginning of the year. If you want to see that, I'll put a card in the top right corner for you to revisit it. All this to say, you probably wonder what I'm drinking. Well, they have Unibrew on tap. I didn't see Sapporo, but they got the New England IPA finally. Unlike the other bar I went to in Villeray that had the New England Pale Ale, or the New India Pale Lager, this one is a legit New England IPA. It's relatively new on the market, but I'm happy they have it. Super refreshing. Kind of tastes like a bit of grapefruit in here. It would make sense because I think grapefruit is one of those fruits that you would get in a New England IPA. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. So my New England IPA is now done. Part of me would want to stick around for another pint over here, but the thing is that it's only about 4 of them that are on draft, 2 others that are available if I was to get them in can format, and I'm sure that I could find somewhere else that's also interesting along the way before I get to my ultimate destination. Plus it gives me an excuse to put a few other musical montages along the way, because that's what I like to think of myself as these days, a wandering jukebox of the music that's dear to me, and also paying tribute to my parents. You know how it is. Now, what am I gonna do? Finished up over Le Marché des Éclusiers, and I'm ready to make my way into Griffintown. Once again, good brew, nice atmosphere, and once again, whenever you pull out a camcorder, people seem to ask, hey, what are you doing? And they get interested in you. I guess when you tell them you have a YouTube channel, then they suddenly want to follow you. But, you know, because I try to keep it real, I guess I'm more interesting. Not like a fake influencer, as you would see, where it seems like you're only trying to get some free stuff. But that's a soapbox I could get on for another time. I'm going to make my way westward and find out what I'm going to get next. The ship is called the Daniel McAllister behind me. Seems pretty heavy. I guess it would take, if you wanted to lift it up, then you would probably need to get all the might of Thor and the strength of the Norse gods. What the? No, not that Thor. Okay, you're probably wondering what the hell that was. I forgot about that album until like last weekend. I kind of revisited it. This guy, like a strongman slash singer who's in Vancouver, so it's basically Canadian glam rock, except when you look at the album cover, it's like cheese. Like, imagine if Thor decided he wanted to cosplay like He-Man and front a band that's almost a borderline Spinal Tap territory, and you got the gist of it. And that's not even counting some of his weirder antics on stage, bending metal bars with his mouth, blowing up hot water balloons. Like, what was he thinking? As for the music, it's catchy, it's cheesy as all hell, but it's not that much more ridiculous than Kiss from the same time. And it can't be any worse than William Shatner's album, which I have heard because I have a very strange tolerance for the weird in terms of music. Okay, maybe that would be a good montage. DJ, can you subject us to Canadian cheese and play the title track? There we are. Okay, stop the music now. Yeah, I don't think I want to subject you to that any further than I have to get my point across. So I've made my way around Griffintown now, and I kind of talked about this before, but I have done some episodes mostly within this area since 2021. I do remember one particular one when I was walking around here, but I think I have to correct myself from back then, because part of where I was walking was in Griffintown, but the other part was also within Point St. Charles, which is on the south side of the Lachine Canal, so that's the one thing that I didn't realize at the time. This was back when I was getting used to all the different little areas in Montreal. But if you want to see that one, then I'll put you a link on the top right corner and you can revisit that once more. Again, this is 2021, before my wander videos had really started to fall into place and I really developed my style. Now I'm on Wellington here, so that means technically I could get into Point St. Charles and then eventually into Verdun if I was going in that route. But Griffintown is my main point that I want to get into. And I was thinking, where can I get another beverage for myself? Well, I'm thinking of doing a revisit to an old place, so I might go there instead. What do I mean instead? I might go there for a drink. Instead implies there's a second option, but there isn't. Me fail English.
Tried
I guess this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, because seeing how I was going to be in Griffintown, I want to go get a drink, and I was thinking of classic places to go get them. What better place than Brasseur de Montreal? If this looks familiar to you, I did pay a visit to this spot back in, I believe it was August or July, like the very last day of July 2023. Came here because I wanted to try out the brewery right at the spot before I made my way into Point St. Charles. If you want to see that episode, then alongside, I'll put a link on the clock. I'm losing my words for a second, but whatever. I'll put a card in the top right corner for you to watch that if you want to see me do my first visit to this spot, to the Memento Brewery in Point St. Charles, along with Cafe Cosé, where I learned that they add some Vietnamese coffee beans into theirs in order to give it a different taste. So this spot here, every single beer that's on the menu is typically named after areas within Montreal. So since this is in Griffintown, your basic blonde is going to be the Griffintown, which kind of makes sense. The red originally was Loxley. I forget what area it's supposed to represent, but eventually they renamed it to Petite Bourgogne, which is French for Little Burgundy. Makes sense considering that I'm not too far from Little Burgundy here, and etc. But you know me, I'm an IPA guy first and foremost, so I had to get the one that's most suited for me, the Normandville Hazy IPA, or as they call it on the menu, IPA Trouble. I don't know if it means that drinking this is going to make you a troublemaker, but you know, that's just easy cheddar. The main reason I got that is because this is emblematic of Rosemont, and seeing I was originally born in Rosemont, it just felt appropriate to drink something for the roots. Cheers to a good return visit. Tasty as always. Refreshing. Yep. This is actually my favorite brew of theirs that's made on the spot. I mean, what else can you say? I love IPAs. It's a Rosemont. It's part of my heritage. What more can I ask for? Now, I did come here a few other times after I did that video. Once on my own, and also once with a couple of friends because I wanted to introduce them to the spot, since one of my friends is a huge fan of one of their beers. But one thing I remember is that they got a lot of Trou du Diable on tap from Shawinigan, and that's probably one of the reasons I had my friend come over, since Julie in the comment section does enjoy that kind of stuff, so she would enjoy the 4 servers of the Apocalypso. There's also, I think that's the main one she would enjoy, but I'm looking at another one on the menu for Beers of the Moment that says Kryptonite. So it's a New England IPA that I don't see as often, but I feel like that one of the first times I tried that out was August 2022 over at Chez Roger. That's like a bar that's around Beaubien Street East, close to my Bapche's old neighborhood. They got a pretty decent selection of Brasseur de Montreal, Trou du Diable, and even Laurent if you want to go for your classic skunky blonde. So that was all awesome. And I remember the food here is nice. The tartare is good. Yeah, I'm a tartare guy, so I'm always going to see what it's like at another spot. The funny thing too is that we came here on a Sunday altogether, and you got to deal with the fish and chips here. You could get 2 for $22, which means you can get 2 fish and chips platters for $22. I actually ordered, said I wanted to take that deal without realizing exactly what it meant. Because you go to some spots, you get either 1 fillet, or you can get 2 fillets depending on how much you'd want. I was under the impression it was 2 fillets as opposed to 2 full meals. But I did have some lunch the next day, which meant it did help out a little bit. Plus, $22 for 2 fish and chips platters in what was 2023, you really can't find that in this day and age, you know. Most of the times you're looking at $20 a pop. I had another spot in mind for my final destination, but when I was looking at the menu, I thought I probably should have something over here before I make my way elsewhere. So fries. They're classic, they're awesome, and they fill you up pretty well. But I wanted to go with the chef's choice of the fries today because it seems like what they did over here is that they kind of added some bacon, they added some Parmesan cheese, and the Caesar dressing with a bit of green onion for good measure. And you know me, I like cheese, I like salty pig, and considering that I only paid like $6 Canadian for this, I thought this is actually pretty awesome for everything you're getting here. Yep, good flavor too, and that Caesar dressing really gets to you. And you know, it's kind of funny. It was brought to my attention earlier this week that 2024 is apparently the 100th anniversary of the Caesar salad. So it's one of those things that you would look at Greek restaurants, you would think like fancy sit-down restaurants, but then when you look up at where the origins came from, apparently the Caesar salad originated from Caesar's restaurant in Tijuana, Mexico. And from what I read on the history briefly, it's almost like they were out of ingredients. They're trying to do something improvised with what they had, and it became a staple of all these sit-down places. So I guess I could call it a happy accident. Very funny. I guess I'll figure out what that trophy is supposed to imply in post-production. But all that to say, for $6 over here, this is going to be filling enough. It's tasty. It's recommended if you don't want to commit to a full meal. Those fries were amazing. So on their own, they would have been awesome, but when you combine it with salty pig, some Italian cheese, and a little bit of ranch dressing, it was amazing. And my Normanville IPA is all run out, and I thought, is there anything else I could do before I head on out to my ultimate destination? And the answer is yes. I was looking at the menu over here, and they seem to be talking about some beers for the moment where they're in kind of rotation. That was the Kryptonite one I told you about. There's also the Jacques Cartier Session IPA that I've had before, but there's a new one on the menu that I thought I would give a shot. This one is called the Saint Zotique American White. I don't know exactly what an American white, like how it differs from a Belgian white, just because when I think white beer, I think wheat, orange, coriander, like a Belgian style beer. But an American one, the only thing I overheard is like it has a bit of a taste of pineapple, which I kind of like because it would make me think of the Citrusonic IPA that the Pixel Brewery does. But the other reason I got it for is the name. If you're to go into the Rosemont area, one block north of Beaubien Street would be Saint Zotique Street. So it kind of made me think, yeah, I remember Saint Zotique because from when I was growing up and visiting my babcia, we would do our walks to Esposito, the old grocery store that only exists in a handful of areas. It was Beaubien, then Saint Zotique, then Bélanger, and then Jean Talon. So that was kind of my point of reference at the time. Gave me a reason to try new beer and also pay tribute to the extended family. You know what? This is a quite awesome beer. It's 4.5%. It's very light. It does have that citrusy kind of flavor in it, but it doesn't feel very hoppy like an IPA would be. I accept it. Had I not been going somewhere else, I probably would have ordered a pint, but you know what? I got to ration it and at least pace myself so I can enjoy what I really want to enjoy. Let's take another sip. Good beers all around and some amazing fries. Once again, if I wanted to stick around longer, I probably could have done a full pint of that Saint Zotique, but you know what? I have an idea in mind and I want to kind of stick to that. Wow, Griffintown, probably talked about it before, but if you look over here like in the like 2010s or even into the 2000s, this area was like the remnants of the old machine shop and very industrial area. But it looks like what they have done a lot around here is they've tried to revitalize it to make it more of a residential spot with a few good restaurants and bars here and there and some cafes. One thing I have noticed around Griffintown is that a lot of these condo complexes have been built, so it's like, yeah, they've been building quite a bit here where it will mostly be, you know, like workshops. And in some buildings, you can actually see on the side of the brick like machine shop or other names which give you an idea of what it might have been back at the time. It's the way, like some places they're trying to really preserve some of the, I guess you could say, the heritage of the spot. Others seem like they're just building over undeveloped land. So it's a kind of a nice mix of the old and the new over here. A little bit like what I pointed out about some parts of Rosemont where you see the really old rustic style of building and some of the new condos. Now, I'm on William Street now, the south side of where Brasseur de Montreal is located, so I'm very close to my final destination and my ultimate goal of this journey. quiet and cozy, I have to say. So I'm at a place that's called Mauvais Garçons, which is French for bad boys. And the reason I came here is because last year at around March or April, I was doing a walk around Griffintown to get into Verdun. I passed by this spot and happened to notice the graffiti that you saw earlier in the montage, which was Samuel L. Jackson's character from Pulp Fiction with a glass in his hand. I looked at it and thought, this feels like a kind of place I would want to visit eventually down the road. So again, 1 year later, decided here we are, giving it a shot. Looks nice, and I'm already giving it bonus points because I'm getting some Phil Collins and Philip Bailey on the playlist. Philip Bailey, in case you don't know, was one of the lead singers of Earth, Wind & Fire. He's the one that did all the really high falsetto voices, so you can keep that in mind. It's a pretty good song. Some people would say Phil Collins' best song, but your mileage may vary. Now, I looked here. There's some things that caught my eye on the menu, and first thing that caught my eye is that the menu, the wine, almost feels like it's a buvette type of place. You know, kind of like Buvette Beaubien that I visited a while back, like last year. I love their tartare. They have some private import wines, and they do have beers. The only thing is that they only have canned beers. And it's the same thing over here. So if you do come and you want a beer, keep in mind that you're gonna have to get it canned or in bottled. That said, what I'm doing for myself is the Cat d'Origine Ironworks. Ironworks is their typical blonde. Figured get myself a nice blonde beer after that IPA goodness and my white beer. Cheers everybody. Here's to a fine Saturday hot afternoon. Oh yeah. You're gonna note too that I am indoors right now because they don't have a terrace, but considering I was sitting outdoors at Brasseur de Montreal before this and my back was kind of sweaty, I figured, you know what? I could give myself a bit of a break anyways. Let's see, I don't want to say let's see where we go because I do have an idea where I'm going. Well, if you want to know what I'm having right now, it's one of the more unique things I've seen on the menu, like in all the restaurants I've been in. I'm a big fan of beef tartare, as you probably noticed. I have it, or at least I've had it a lot when I was going out. And in the case of now, I know how to make it at home on my own, but this is actually pretty unique. It looks like what they did was they made beef tartare and made it into a guédi, or like a roll, as they say in English. So when I think guédi, the first thing that comes to mind is shrimp or lobster. So it's more like a seafood one. It's going to be mixed with maybe radishes, onions, like some kind of a mayonnaise. But this is the first spot that I've seen it done with beef. So what they did here is they took it with some mushrooms. They add an aioli sauce and some chips along with it in like a brioche. Or at least it's a hot dog bun. That's really all it is. I looked it up. Like an aioli sauce is essentially just a garlic-infused mayonnaise with some olive oil in it. So it does look pretty nice. And again, I want to try something kind of different because I know how to make tartare, but I always like to try the new restaurants to see how do they do it differently. Well, I can definitely say there's a lot more garlic in here as expected because of the sauce, but I'm liking it so far. Not a bad meal at all. Like I said, when I think guédi, I always think lobster or shrimp. It's the first time I've ever encountered a guédi with beef tartare in it, but it was awesome. Mushrooms are great, but what struck me is that the garlic in the aioli sauce was really, hitting me. But again, given the fact that I am Ukrainian after all, garlic and meat get along so well, it just runs naturally. So that's someone that I would recommend. I'm sure there's other stuff on the menu that I could recommend too, but there's only so much you could do in one day. And given the fact that the platter there was just perfect after a round of fries over at Brasseur de Montreal, this works out so that I'm full without it being so full that I can't even walk a straight line. Now, I've got my water, I still got the remnants of the ironworks, but just a question of what am I going to do next? You know what? Pretty good first impression. The beer is good. Once again, if you come here for beer, remember it's canned or bottled. but also the food was pretty nice for what I had, and the hospitality, amazing. I did get a good sample of a Basil Hayden bourbon, which I can't remember the last time I tried that, but you know what? It's little things that seem to happen when you're recording a vlog and people seem to be interested in you. And once again, I'm not doing this because I'm trying to get free stuff. I'm just doing it because I love to explore, I love to eat, try new drinks, and because I have a lot of friends, family that don't travel as much, it's like they're traveling with me, so I kind of feel like it's a way for them to feel like a tourist along with me. But as much as I wanted to stick around maybe for another drink, the truth is, I'm still in pretty top shape, and the most I would probably want to do is grab a coffee along the way home. Maybe, I don't know, find someplace that's not Tim Hortons, Starbucks, or heaven forbid I have to support the Mad Clown Parlor. Yeah, go throw a rock at yourself, Ronald. I'm sure if people are watching me do that without the post-production, I think I'm demented. But I'm entertaining, no matter how you slice it. So, everyone, thanks for watching this latest edition of the Wanayuki Cheese Cafe. If you like what you see, I think you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my wanders, my stories, my antics, the music that I play, and everything that comes with it. If you have any ideas for future episodes, like an area of Montreal I should explore, or a recipe I could make at home, leave in the comments section. I'll see what I could do. Till then, take care, and see you next time. Now, how am I going to get a bean nectar for myself, aka coffee?
Streets again. Oh yeah, you think you're really cooking, baby? You better find yourself a friend, my friend. It's something my love. My love is rotten to the core. It's something my love. Just like I've told you before. I stood and looked down. You know I lost a lot of friends there, baby. I got no time to mess around. So if you want it, got to bleed.